They say that every face hides a story, but some stories are only whispered when the world goes to sleep, when the city lights dim, when the noise of the traffic fades away. That is when the real life begins. Tonight's story belongs to Elias, a man the world had forgotten, a man who became part of the shadows. If you are listening to this right now, in the quiet of your room, keep your heart open. Because Elias' story might just sound a lot like your own. In the old quarter of New Orleans, where the houses still smell of aged wood and the air is heavy with moisture, lived Elias. 70 years of age. To the neighbors, he was just the old man. They saw him sweep the park in the early hours of the morning and retreat to his small, quiet room before the sun went down to an outsider. Elias' life looked simple. No chaos, no drama, but silence. Silence does not always mean peace. Sometimes silence just means that the noise inside a person has become too loud to speak over. Elias had lost much in his lifetime, his home, his love, and his voice. But on this particular night, with the storm approaching from the coast, the chapter of Elias' life that he had kept closed for decades was about to open. The year was 1974. Life wasn't as fast as it is today, but it was hard, especially for a young man with heavy responsibilities on his shoulders. Elias was young then. His hands were strong, covered in grease and dust. But his heart was somewhere else entirely. He wanted to be a pianist. He wanted to create music that could make the world cry, but Poverty has a way of stealing dreams before they are even born. Every night on his way back from the factory, he would stop outside that music shop. Through the glass, that piano called to him. But Elias knew the harsh truth. His hands were built for coal mines and factories, not for the ivory keys of a piano. Have you ever wanted something so badly? Something that was right in front of you, yet you couldn't touch it. For Elias, that pain was his only companion. Decades passed, the factory closed, the music shop turned into a grocery store. And Elias just kept sweeping the leaves. He thought his story was over. He thought the music inside him had died a long time ago. But the universe has a strange way of bringing back what we once let go. One rainy Tuesday, Elias saw her, a young girl named Maya. She wasn't just crying for a broken toy. She was crying because her world felt as small and as heavy as Elias did back in 1974. Elias didn't have much to give, but he had time, and he had memories of a dream that was never fulfilled. He looked at Maya and saw himself, the same longing, the same feeling of being not enough. He whispered to her, his voice rusty from years of silence, "The music isn't in the wood, little one. It's in the heart, and hearts are harder to break than toys." That night, the midnight felt different. As Elias placed his trembling fingers on the dusty keys, the world seemed to hold its breath. He didn't play a masterpiece. He played the pain of the factory. He played the sound of the New Orleans rain. He played every tear he had ever swallowed. Days turned into weeks. The old community center, once a place of silence, began to breathe again. Elias didn't just teach Maya how to play notes. He taught her how to speak through the keys. Every evening at midnight, the street would go quiet, not because it was empty, but because people started to stop. And listen, for the first time in his life, Elias wasn't the old man who swept the park. He was the man who held the wind in his fingers. He was the ghost of New Orleans jazz finally coming home. The body grows weary, but the spirit only gets brighter before the dawn. Elias knew his time was thinning like the mist over the Mississippi River, but he wasn't afraid. He had passed the spark. He had told his story. That night, as the thunder rolled, Elias played a song he had been writing in his head for 50 years. It was a song of coal mines, of wet streets, of lost love. And a final piece. Midnight comes for us all. It is the end of one day and the quiet beginning of another. Elias is gone now. But if you walk through those New Orleans streets when the rain starts to fall, and you listen very closely, you can still hear him, because a story never truly ends as long as someone is there to listen. This was the midnight real story of Elias. Go to sleep now. Your heart is safe. The music is still playing.